right now.
Tonight on the Nightbeat, a South Bexar County man in handcuffs after his wife was found dead inside their home. What we've learned about Charles Byrd and a warning from the sheriff. And nearly 3 weeks after the Hill Country floods, debris dominates the landscape. Why locals say that getting it off their property isn't so easy. But we start here tonight. The man accused of killing his wife in South Bexar County has now been formally charged with murder. The sheriff tonight sharing gruesome details in this case. Now, to warn you about a trend in Bexar County between domestic assault and homicide. 49-year-old Charles Byrd was first arrested on Sunday for tampering with evidence. The night team's Avery Everett was there as Sheriff Javier Salazar broke down Byrd's confession.
Hearing this person tell one of my detectives that, just matter-of-factly, go big or go home, when talking about violently murdering his spouse, that's going to stay with me for a long, long time.
Disturbing details revealed in a Bexar County murder case.
You have the right to remain silent.
49-year-old Charles Byrd is accused of killing his wife, Angela, and tampering with evidence to keep her body hidden. Wednesday, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says his office has a full confession.
Now it's just a matter of putting together the strongest case we possibly can to keep him behind bars.
The murder warrant affidavit for his arrest says Charles admitted to choking his wife because he believed she was cheating. After she died, Charles says he tried wrapping her body in plastic bags and rugs. He kept her body hidden for 32 days until this past Saturday. Charles' son called 911, saying his father told him, quote, "I killed her." Deputies found Angela's body on their property in South Bexar County, severely decomposed. But it took until Sunday for investigators to track down Charles to a home half a mile up Pleasanton Road, where he was arrested for tampering with evidence. In front of our cameras Sunday night, he confessed to killing her.
Charles, did you do it?
Yes.
But Sheriff Salazar says they couldn't charge him at that point with murder until the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office finished its investigation.
At present, they've got the cause and manner listed as homicidal violence. And so that led us to today having enough information with that positive ID and the cause and manner to book him.
In total, Byrd faces 1 murder charge and 2 tampering with evidence charges. Sheriff Salazar says he wants this story to be a warning.
Look, at the base of this is a domestic violence situation. This issue of domestic violence ends like this. It usually ends in a homicide.
Last year, 19 homicides were reported in Bexar County. The sheriff says 10 of those were related to domestic violence. That's why he's sharing the gruesome details of this case, hoping someone in a similar situation can get help before it's too late. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
We know that tonight Byrd is in the Bexar County jail and his bond totals come in at about $650,000. If you or someone you know is in a domestic violence situation, please know that there's help out there. Scan the QR code that you see on your screen because that'll direct you to a list of resources that can help you and also keep your loved ones safe. New video tonight shows the very moment that a white Camaro was stolen in northeast Bexar County. Now, this matters because San Antonio police have confirmed that that was the car that crashed into a passenger van on I-35 South last week, killing 5 people. On the scene, San Antonio Police Chief Willie McManus said that 4 people were seen leaving that car and then running away. We know that at least one of them had a gun, but investigators haven't yet found the suspects. Today, the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office identified all 5 victims. Their names are 78-year-old Maria del Rosario Sanchez Cerda, 79-year-old Judith Paulson, 69-year-old Rosalio Aguilera, 50-year-old Jose Guerra, and 42-year-old Alicia Cisneros Gonzalez. We've been in contact with the brother of Jose Guerra's, whose nickname is Tito, and he shared the photos that you're looking at there. We're told that Tito was the driver and owner of the passenger bus that was hit. That bus was traveling from Fort Worth to Mexico. In a phone call to KSAT, Tito's brother said in part, quote, "I want him to be remembered as a hardworking man and a caring man that cared for his community and cared for everybody around him." He also went on to say that they didn't just crash. We need closure and we need justice now. San Antonio police say that this is an active investigation. Tomorrow actually marks 1 week since the crash. University Health today has confirmed that they're still treating 2 adults from that crash, but we are told that they're in good condition. You know, today was supposed to bring clarity about when 3 former SAPD officers are going to stand trial for the shooting death of Melissa Perez from 2023. Hopefully you remember that case. Now, hopefully defense attorneys for the officers say that they don't yet have the evidence that they need. The 3 former officers that we're talking about are facing charges ranging from murder to aggravated assault after shooting and killing Perez during what Police Chief William McManus called a mental health crisis. The attorneys are demanding the body cam footage from that night, but the prosecution says that footage simply doesn't exist.
Why was no investigation done about the destruction of evidence? Because the evidence should have been created.
We would have to have somebody like Chief McManus on the stand to be able to question him about those things.
The state said that the defense can ask Chief McManus to testify. As for a trial date, we know that proceedings could begin the first week of September or the first week of October. A man is dead tonight after a meetup gone wrong, and the shooter still on the loose. Happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon on Mardell Street on the northwest side. That's where San Antonio police say that a 28-year-old man was meeting somebody for an online sale when someone shot him in the back. A woman who was with them then drove him to an apartment complex on Babcock Road where he died. We still don't know exactly what led up to that shooting. Earlier today, we told you about how Guadalupe County is stepping up efforts to catch child predators. We know that multiple suspects have been arrested this week. And then hours ago, we learned about another one. So we're going to show you here 28-year-old Colton Wiley. He was booked into the Guadalupe County Jail this afternoon on a charge of continuous abuse of a child under 14 and aggravated assault of a child. This makes him the 4th suspect that's been arrested on child sex crimes in Guadalupe County this week. Wiley is currently listed as the vice president of the Marion Volunteer Fire Department's board of directors on their website. Also new tonight, the federal government says it's going to build a new migrant detention camp over in El Paso. The Defense Department announced that it's using $232 million in Army funds to build that facility. The goal is to house single immigrant adults. This comes weeks after President Trump signed a law setting aside $170 billion for border and immigration enforcement. You know, the number of missing people in Kerr County is down to 2 people tonight after a woman's body was recovered yesterday afternoon. Governor Greg Abbott announced on social media that 1 girl from Camp Mystic and another adult male still remain missing. The governor again promised that searches will continue until everybody's found. On Saturday, July 19th, Kerr County dropped its count of missing people from 97 to 3. A lot of people had questions about this, and Kerr County Judge Rob Kelly clarified that most of those who were removed from the list were actually tourists who hadn't checked in with their families. Meanwhile, the state's Senate and House Joint Committee on Disaster Preparedness and Flooding just adjourned about an hour ago. We know that legislators heard state and local testimony for more than 11 hours. The goal there is to prevent future deaths by prioritizing resources for state and local agencies. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Department asked for more employees and an additional helicopter. Other agencies asked for funding, but legislators also pressed them back on how their current policies and lack of leadership led to miscommunication.
It was frustrating to read transcripts from the dispatchers that were the emergency dispatchers where it was evident that there was confusion as to who was in charge, the fact that they couldn't get a code read out without supervisor approval. That should have all been in place.
So the Joint Committee will meet again next week on Thursday in Kerrville, and they're going to put together legislation. That's the goal. People in the Hill Country say they feel stuck. You see, floodwaters have gone down, but the piles of debris, that still stands high. As the night team's John Paul Barajas explains, people are just waiting for progress.
The images of destruction in what looked like a war zone on July 4th in Kerr County is something that'll be remembered for generations. However, 19 days removed, the mountains of debris are a constant reminder of the death and how long the road to recovery will be.
It's crazy what we have in our backyard.
And it's that way everywhere.
What does your property look like when you step out now?
All the furnishings got taken out of the cabins. All the fencing was wiped out. Now we're just wondering when cleanup begins.
Kirk County residents like Diane Ferguson and Brian Olson say it doesn't just take a toll on their psyche, but for some, like Olson, they've lost their source of income. In his case, a dog kennel and cabins used for vacation rentals.
You know, I realized within a 45-minute period, I lost 2 incomes.
However, he's still grateful. You lost your livelihood, but you still have your life.
Exactly, right. And I personally know of 6 people that have passed away during this flood.
And he doesn't want anything to happen prematurely as people are still missing. But he does want to take necessary steps to rebuild. Debris removal would be step 1, something discussed in a Kirk County informational meeting Tuesday night.
Debris removal along the major corridors is going to take place first. If you want it picked up off your property, you'll need to fill out a right of entry for the contractors that come in on your private property. And they'll have forms for you.
The only thing they didn't mention is when the contractors were going to arrive and when and where you could find those forms.
And I can understand it's very complicated, but yeah, we all want to sign that form as soon as possible and start to get this stuff cleaned up, because with all that debris on our property, it's just we can't move forward.
In an update from Kirk County officials Wednesday, they said we will begin sharing the next phase for debris removal by next week. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Still ahead, the flood devastated the Hunt Store. It's what it's called. And we're going to show you why the Hill Country is coming together to rebuild that cornerstone of the community. And as flood donations pour into the Hill Country, not all of it can go to flood victims. We're going to show you how that excess of donations is being used.
Hey there, Steve Spriester, Myra Arthur. We are inside Santikos Casablanca Theaters where the KSAT Town Hall took place, and it was great getting to see some of our viewers and to hear from them as well.
That is one of the best parts about this job, is connecting with our viewers, talking to people about the stories they want to see us cover, letting them know what our process looks like to get you news coverage every single day. It was great to meet and greet, great to answer questions, and we hope to do a whole lot more of this in the future. So stay tuned for more KSAT Town Halls. But this one was extra special because we got to celebrate 30 years of Steve Spriester at KSAT 12.
And one of the viewers who didn't even come to the town hall, he just wanted to drop off a happy anniversary cake. He brought it all the way out here for me.
So sweet.
And Adam Caskey got me a wild berry icy. Or tonight, I guess we can call it an ice spree.
To celebrate a wild 30 years and more to come here at KSAT. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Definitely congratulations to Steve. Switching gears now after the unimaginable floodwaters of July 4th. So many donations came in that crews weren't really sure what to do with it. So to make sure that none of that food goes bad, the excess then came to the San Antonio Food Bank. So nothing's going to waste. While donations have been pouring in, the trailers on site are getting filled pretty fast, and a place to store it all has been limited. But none's going to waste, because whatever the Hill Country doesn't use, goes to San Antonio, and trucks are running back and forth between San Antonio and the Hill Country every day, and they will continue to be doing that as long as they're needed to. You know, it's just a Hunt thing. If you live in that community or you visited there, you know that a lot of the action in Hunt revolves around one place, the Hunt Store. During the floods, much of the building and its interior was destroyed. However, locals and volunteers are already hard at work finding the pieces that remain of that historic place. While only some pieces of the facade and a fireplace remain standing, people are hoping that those pieces will be the cornerstone of a new Hunt Store. The store has no flood insurance because it sits within the 100-year and 500-year floodplains, so they're going to need lots of help to rebuild it. You can head over to their Facebook page or thehuntstore.com to find out how you can pitch in. So that brings us to our Together for Texas donation drive. KSAT, our sister station, KPRC, Grand Media, and Gray Media set this up to help the people affected by the floods. And so far, you have donated more than $1 million. Good stuff. All of that money goes directly to the on-the-ground efforts in flood-affected areas through the Salvation Army, which has done incredible work. All right, so now we'll talk about What we'll have for the rest of the week, 88 degrees out there right now. We're talking rain chances and just July weather, Adam.
We are. I'm a little caffeinated from earlier today at Santikos.
As if you needed it.
Never a good thing. Never a good thing. Anyway, yes, we have triple digits likely tomorrow. That would be our 4th triple digit day, should it verify, of course. And then rain chances return by Friday. So let's get right to it with our headlines. And we talked about triple digits likely tomorrow, but really just tomorrow, because then temperatures drop a smidge by Friday into the weekend. And even this time of year, a smidge is something to celebrate. Rain isolated chances Friday all the way through Sunday. That's the key. I extended it all the way through Sunday with that 20 to 30% chance. And there could be a few downpours because we have deep tropical moisture that's going to be in the air and pushed over Texas in our neck of the woods. But flooding is unlikely. We could have a quick 1 inch or so from some of the downpours in highly isolated areas, but most likely shouldn't be anything problematic. 30% chance Friday, 20 to 30% chance Saturday, Sunday. Take a break Monday, Tuesday. Then another little push of upper level energy could bring rain chances back into the picture by this time next week. So not exactly your standard July weather pattern as we're obviously have seen so far this month in unfortunate ways. Here's the upper disturbance near Cuba. That's headed our way. This is highly unlikely to turn into anything that would be tropical in the sense of a tropical storm or anything like that. Highly unlikely. This is just a little ripple in the upper level flow that's going to throw a bit of rain-making energy our way by Friday, and then also that deep moisture. Look at the saturated air. The bright green and almost white color, that's really, really saturated air. And not just, the mugginess near the ground, but I mean from the ground several thousand or tens of thousands of feet high into the sky. Thick moisture, and that thick moisture is going to move in and then thin out a bit once it's over Texas over the weekend, and then really exit and drier air in place by early next week, Monday and Tuesday. We could use the rain in West Texas. We could use the rain here in San Antonio. Obviously, we want to keep it away from parts of the hill country, especially Kerr County, Kendall County, and Comal counties. But, Highway 90 and southward, still significant drought areas where we could use some of those showers. And again, a few downpours, isolated in nature, likely by the weekend. Canyon Lake, 68% full. That's 17 feet below the conservation pool. Medina at 6%. Buchanan's at 100%. And that's up 17 feet since July 4th. 99 was our high today. The record 105 shows you our potential for this time of year. And even at this hour, we're 80s to right near 90. 90 Bandera, 90 Port SA, 85 in Poteet. And then tomorrow we start the day in the 70s. 76 degrees at sunrise, 100 by 4 p.m., even 92 by noon, 100 for the high temperature. South side of town making it to 101 along with Floresville in the hill country, 96 Bernie, 97 in Comfort. And notice we'll be in the mid 90s, which is average for this time of year. 96 is the average high. We're going to be right near that Friday through the weekend with extra clouds and some of those subtle rain chances.
All right. Thank you, Adam. All right. So we like talent, but especially when it's local, when it comes from San Antonio.
Yeah, and we like to see when we get an opportunity to chat with that talent. We got an opportunity to do that today with our Larry Ramirez, sitting down with the one and only Terrence Steele from right here in San Antonio. We're going to show you that. Plus, you don't want to miss us heading over to H-Town to check out what the Houston Texans are up to with training camp. We got all training camp coverage coming up right after the break.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Thomas J. Henry.
Well, if the Dallas Cowboys training camp was a soap opera, then this season has it all. The owner and the star defensive end can't find common ground on a contract. The quarterback healthy again. We like to see that. But the team is fighting for the second day in a row, things we don't like to see. First-year head coach Brian Schottenheimer stopped practice to put an end to the scuffle. Things remained calm for the rest of the day. And we must stay tuned for what's going to come in tomorrow's episode. Less fighting means more fun and football on the horizon. And it's always great when we get to chat with a San Antonio star who just so happens to be a Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman. So let's send it out to Oxnard, to our Larry Ramirez.
And joining us now, Terrence Steele, Dallas Cowboys right tackle, and of course from Steele High School.
Sir.
Terrence, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be back with you.
I know it's just a couple days into camp, but how is camp going for you so far and the team, you think?
Yeah, for me personally, it's been awesome. It's my 5th year out here, 6th year on the team, so no, I love it. I love being out here in Cali. Team-wise, I mean, it's been going awesome. You can already tell very early on it's been very competitive. That's Coach Schottenheimer's motto to the team is compete every day, and then it's been showing for sure.
And speaking of that, tell us more about Coach Schotty, because everybody just raves about him on the team.
Yeah, I love him. He just brings a lot of energy. He's very authentic, cares about the players. Really truly takes the time to get to know each and every single one of us, and yeah, we love that about him.
So today you all had a scuffle. He stopped practice, turned off the music. What was his message to you guys?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's competitive, not combative. At the end of the day, we all have the star on our helmets, so we just got to take care of one another, and just got to practice smarter. So,
does that make you just more anticipating the fact that you guys are going to get to put on pads on Sunday?
Yeah, I think we're still a little excited. Yeah, it's just right around the corner. When the pads come on, it's definitely going to get going. So I'm excited about it.
Hey, what is training camp like for you daily basis when you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed? Can you just walk us through?
Yeah, so I wake up probably like 6, walk over to the weight room right here, kind of just stretch, jump a little rope, get the body warm up a little bit. And then after that, I will go eat. And then we have a team meeting at 8. We're in meetings till about 10:45-ish. Okay. And then we got an hour break. We got practice 11:45. And then we eat lunch when practice concludes. So I eat around like 2. Okay. And then we have more meetings from 3 to about 4 or something, and then we have a walkthrough at the end, and we're done usually around 6.
Man, that is a long day.
Yeah, it's very structured, but being with the guys here, man, it just flies by.
Sure. Now, at night when you're done, what do you normally do?
Yeah, so grab lunch or grab dinner, probably eat it, with the guys, head back to the room, and then I will start my just rehab, take care of my body. That concludes of rolling out, making sure I'm hydrated. I got a couple machines I use, or just making sure my muscles are, primed and ready to go, and then I try to go to bed at a decent hour. So usually here, I want to be, laying down in bed about 9:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrence, I appreciate you sitting down with us again. Best of luck this season.
Appreciate it.
All right, back to you.
Oh, thank you, Larry. Let's take a look at the schedule for all of the practices coming up this week. All these times are San Antonio time you see on your screen. Thursday, 1:05 p.m. is going to be the coaches' press conference. 1:45 p.m. is going to be a practice. And then at 3:15 p.m., players' interviews. Friday is a day off for the guys, but then Saturday at 1:15 p.m. is going to be the opening ceremony and practice. Well, when we come back, we're going to head over to Houston for the Texans training camp, so stay with us.